Josh Green here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined by Dave Coldwell here in Brighton. First time down in Brighton, I believe. Dave, how you doing?
It's my first time, and my first impressions when I got off the train last night and I was walking, I was like, this looks nice. And it's sunny today, so I'm looking forward to going for a walk and seeing what it's about. Everybody speaks really well of it, but it looks lovely. Yeah.
Really big week for Dan Toward. We know 2024 was a fantastic year for him, a great building year, but what are you expecting to see in 2025?
Well, it all kicks off tomorrow night. We're in with an opponent that's here to win. His manager's come and had a little chat with me and said, you're in for a real fight. I'm like, yeah, I know, good. All respectful, of course, but that's what we want. I'm not interested in fighting guys that aren't going to be throwing punches, because I see him as a special talent with huge potential. So I want questions asking of him now before we get into, so he has that experience before you get into the big title fights against really good fighters, experienced fighters. He needs to have questions asked of him. That means getting clipped a couple of times, that means having pressure put on him, that means being made to feel a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. Good. And in Kakande, I expect somebody who's just going to come to bring it and to ask all them questions, but in a manner where he wants to win and he wants to further his career and develop, and that's what he's here for. So we're in a real fight.
How do you balance those two things as a trainer and a manager, needing those tests and those tricky moments, I guess, in fights, but making sure that the victory is ultimately the thing you come out with and they keep building their career?
Preparing them mentally and physically, and then the fighter's just got to go out there and perform. Listen, if he performs like what is sparred consistently, not the odd times, consistently, like literally every single spar, no matter who he's sparring with, then tomorrow night is going to look fantastic. But we all know sparring and fight nights are completely different. So far, Dan Towers performed every fight night, and he's looked great. I don't expect tomorrow to be any different. Like I said, it's another step up in quality of opposition. I got a message through from somebody saying there's quite a few people that fancy the upset. So good.
What would the ideal 2025 look like for Dan Toward? Where do you want him to be towards the back end of this year?
Activity, and at the end of this year, everybody's talking about him. That's what I want. Activity, everybody talking about him being about a special talent, and end of this year, probably having fought for a minor title.
The gym seems like a busy place at the moment. Obviously, Larone's back in there. What's it like when it's a busy gym and you've got these young prospects who are, obviously Larone's at the opposite end of the scale. He's experienced, he's been there and done it. How do they mix, and how do the characters, I guess, mix in the gym?
Well, it's not a busy gym in terms of everybody else's gyms. I will never have more than 5, maybe 6 fighters to train at once. I've always said 5 since I came back. It allows me to do everything that I need to, focus on my fighters individually, and then also have a family life away from the sport. So it's not a busy gym. So there's a lot of people that work.
Busy enough for you.
But it's a great gym. The 4 young talents that I've got, outstanding prospects, outstanding calibre of potential and talent, and then you've got Lerone, and they just all vibe off each other, feed off each other, push each other. We learn off each other. They watch each other's spars and take bits from. It's just a really good dynamic. And then we also have a really good laugh. It's genuinely like a family down there. So.
I don't believe we've spoken to you since the big event last week, the big news in Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn and the egg slap, as it's sort of now been branded.
Yeah, that's a good term. I'm trying to figure out how we're calling it, but yeah, egg slap.
What was the initial reaction to what went down?
I was shocked because I was working it for the Ring and Sky, and I'm looking at Conor Benn because I'm thinking he's going to do the old double palmed push in the chest, and I'm looking at this stage. I'm thinking, have security got Eubank here if he goes flying? And it was Chris that did it. I was just like, shit, I can't believe it. It's completely out of character. And I didn't see the egg at first. So I thought, and Sonny Edwards, who I was with, and Andy Clark, we all thought, from our vantage point, that Ben had said something and got under his skin. And that's what we were shocked about. It was like, how? Because he's like unflappable. But then obviously it transpires it was an egg, so therefore it's premeditated, and then that makes it that changes it. That completely changes it. Who goes to a press conference with probably a 10 grand jacket with eggs in the pocket? He's got plenty of dough, yes, because I won't be risking that jacket with some eggs.
You said uncharacteristic for Chris Eubank Jr.
Now, once you know it's premeditated, then it's not uncharacteristic. At the time, you're thinking it's like reaction. So no, it's not, because he premeditates everything, and it was funny, but I don't agree with touching a man's face at face-off press conference weighing. If he'd have done it in his chest, then yeah, but he's done it. Now he's done it. I do think that it's wrong, but at the same time, I see why he's done it, and it was funny, and it's made the fight even bigger.
I know Tony Bell, you among a few others, said that there was danger of the shell going into the eye of Conor Benn. Do you think that was a serious risk that could have really brought into play?
I thought Eubank's accuracy and time was fantastic, and he placed it right on the side of the head, so there was no danger unless Conor had gone like that. Then he's made the wrong defensive move. Luckily, he never saw it coming, and he just took the full brunt. No, listen. Obviously, anything that you do like that, you could inadvertently go in there, but it was never his intention, and as it were, his placement was pretty much there rather than there. So yeah.
Wasn't the only head-to-head we saw on the night. Eddie Hearn had a little bit of a pop at Ben Shalom. He tried to get round the side during that face-off as well. What did you make of that?
Yeah, Eddie was feeling it, hyped up, ready to go. And I know he's keeps himself in shape. And I know I've taken Eddie on the pads before. Man can punch. He's got. But I weren't really rating his push. I thought if his push wasn't very strong. But no, listen, it's emotions get involved. He like we did. He thought that his fighter had just got struck in the face. So I understand he's backing his man, but his emotions towards Ben are a little bit too heated, I would say.
I've heard a couple of people say that maybe there's some slight cracks in the emotions of Eddie Hearn during that press conference. Do you read anything into that?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I just there was a melee and Eddie just fancied a bit, and Ben was just Ben. It seems very placid, and he seems to take everything that comes his way, and just carries on doing what he's doing. There's a lot of jostling about positions in boxing at the moment, so emotions are going to get involved, and the new kid on block is going to get offended, is going to get upset. The older guys are going to be pissed off with the new kid coming back and trying to kick him back down the stairs, and Eddie's been used to being number one for years, and then now he's seen his old rival kind of like take his place now, and when he does these head-to-heads in fighters versus camps versus camps, stables versus stables, he's getting beat and things like that. So of course emotions are going to, because it matters, it means something. I would rather see, maybe not on the physical side of things, but I don't mind seeing people losing the shit and being emotional about what's happening, because it means that you care. When you don't, when you're not showing your fighter gets beat, you're not bothered. Fighter wins, you're not bothered. I don't want to be with someone like that. I don't want someone, you know what I mean? I want it's just my opinion, but I want somebody that does give a shit. So regardless of whether you're a fan of Conor Benn or not, or Conor Benn got struck in the face and his promoter was steaming about it. That's how it kind of should be, really.
Final bit of business. We saw the confirmation yesterday that Dana White is going to be working with Turki Alalshikh on a new boxing league. That's obviously going to shake things up hugely.
Because Turki Alalshikh and Riyadh season have shook everything up right now already, where we are. what this next step does, I don't know. Some of the language that's being used, I'm like, what does that mean? Where's that going? It's interesting. Dana White, I'm a big fan of for what he's done with the UFC. I'm not even a UFC fan. I don't watch MMA, but what he's done in the events and how he's done the whole lot is unreal. The only thing that I would say is that he's not got a good reputation when it comes to like how much UFC fighters get paid. So I don't know if that seeps into our sport, because then if it does, then people aren't going to be happy, and then maybe it might not go as it seems. But I don't know. We just got to wait for the details, full details about how it's going to happen, what's going to happen. It's like this WBC Grand Prix thing as well. There's a lot of things that are going off in boxing where everyone's changing the dynamics, inventing the wheel, reinventing the wheel. We just need to watch and let the guys that are putting them all together, put them together, and then we'll see how it all maps out, who fits in where, and how you progress in that. Ultimately, it's about fighting, and it's about winner stays on and moves forward, how it should be and how it really kind of is. Anyway, if you keep winning, you're going to get your shot. It should get your shot. I hope it's good for the sport. It's exciting, but I don't know the dynamics yet, so there's not a lot I can say about the whole Dana White thing. So just wait to find out.
Do you think Eddie and Frank will be watching closely to see what goes on there, because that kind of a monumental impact on their businesses as well, I guess?
Yeah, but I don't. That's what I'm saying, is I don't understand the dynamics of it yet. So because obviously Frank especially has got a really good relationship with Turki. Eddie now has and is working on it as well. That's the dynamic. Is this going to be how does that work? When he's talking about we're going to push all the other promoters, I was like, but you're working with a lot of them. Is it the others, or is this a new entity now, or is it just him drumming up the competitiveness of the sport, which is good. I don't think. I always think that a monopoly is bad. If one promoter or one athlete has full control, it's not always a good thing. So maybe he's creating rivalries within these umbrella sort of thing.
Dave, really appreciate the time today. Best of luck to yourself and Dan.
Thanks, mate.